Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle Miedenberg. Today we're going to be talking about personal growth. This is obviously a time of universal, suffering, I'm going to call it. It's happening all over the world where we're really getting in touch and getting to grips with our vulnerability and our fragility. But it's also at a time where we're thinking about and recognizing how little control we have and how important that is to us on a typical basis. Like, we like to be in control, we feel more comfortable being in control, but recognizing that as much as we'd like to be in control, there are many things that are out of our control. And in the midst of that, we really get to think about what really matters. So it's a wonderful time to really think about how we could facilitate our personal growth through this universal suffering. So, if we could take a moment just to pause and think about that, and really ask yourself, who do you want to be during this time? How do you choose or intend to be? So we have a choice. We could go through this and live our day like we did without thinking twice about it, or we could really look in the depths of our heart and soul and really think about, what do we want to walk away with? How do we intend to live our life? And it's given us, which I think has been helpful, an ability to pause, to take a quiet break and think about how we're living our life, the pace at which we're living our life, how we're moving into the world. Because we recognize our humanness through all of this and our needs and our discomfort and our loss, all of those feelings obviously come up, we could also recognize our strength and our resilience, and our ability to be strong and cope through adversity. And that is actually something that's very positive that is coming out of this. So there's some questions, that we could kind of reflect on and think about in terms of following that path towards personal growth. And some questions you might want to ask yourself is, what are some things that you've been thinking about and culminating in terms of how you want to walk away from this? What kind of goals do you want to, put in place? How do you want to be living your life differently? And then also, what plan are you going to put in place and what intention are you going to have in order to follow through with that? So I know through this, and I'll give you a personal example. I've been working out for around 30 years, and I started off by first pursuing my own, physical health, and then became an aerobics instructor. And then I've been, basically very consistently going to the gym for about 30 years. And, knowing that I can go to the gym has been a huge kind of transition for me, I have to say. In the beginning, I was panicked and I didn't know how I was going to work out and keep in shape the way I usually do. And I am sort of a creature of habit. So going out of my comfort zone was very daunting, but I have to say that I've found my way. I think I'm actually working out even more than I had before. And the intention that goes into it now is such from a place of gratitude and a place of mindfulness of my body and movement and really being aware of my movement. So that's been really helpful for me. And also the ability to go out of my comfort zone. So knowing that if I don't go to the gym, right, there are other ways that I could manage to work out that could be just as effective. And I could actually stretch a little bit in the future, which, has been helpful. Also has this, I'm going to call it crisis, has it helped you develop new habits or hobbies, I'm going to say, that you want to, broach in the future. Now that people tend to have more time at home, people are doing things that they ordinarily maybe in the past have not been doing, whether it's kind of taking up an art or something creative. Again, returning back to something that they've enjoyed doing but haven't had time for. And also thinking about, what are you feeling proud of? What has been your source of strength to help you get through this crisis? Where have you found that source of strength? And really honing in on that so that you could carry that forward with you. Change often could bring out a lot of productivity and discomfort. It, could often motivate you to kind of move forward. And then some other questions that you may want to ask yourself also is, has there been things that have been triggered because of this, right? So some people, if they had former losses in their life, or, challenges or adversity, it could definitely trigger that space. So to really think about, is that an area that you need to work on further, going into the future? And also even connection, like, I've been talking about human connection, how has that changed for you? And how do you want to facilitate that going into your future? So I'm going to mention areas to concentrate and focus on in order to facilitate this growth. And these are areas that you could write about. So it's really nice to think about writing in a journal and really making plans to follow through on this. So intention is wonderful, and it starts with intention, but it's really in the doing. So we really need to follow through, not just to intend on following through. So one area is physically. How are you doing with self-care? And we're talking about all aspects of physicality, from head to toe. We're talking about movement in our body and health and wellness. We're also talking about, it could be, even, for example, taking vitamins, or eating, nutritionally. So all of those aspects of physicality is really important. Emotionally and mentally, in terms of our mental health, our coping skills. Are you leaning into discomfort? Are you learning to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable? Are you tapping into your vulnerability and fragility in order to make movement towards, let's say, relationships? Relationally, in terms of a relationship. So we're now quarantined with, potentially our family or our loved ones or, whoever you choose to be. And again, how do you want to move forward in terms of your connection with other people? And the last one, it could be spirituality. And spirituality often gets confused with religion, and they are very distinct. So spirituality could be whatever you want it to be. It could be meditative, it could be a contemplative practice, it could be a connection with a higher being, it could mean connecting to your values, whatever that means to you. So to really think about on those levels and maybe write down for yourself and see how that evolves over time, from day to day or even week to week. Or you could just write bullet points. Some people don't like to sit and write, so you could just write bullet points of things that you're thinking about and how you want to see change cultivate for yourself. So all of us have the power within, and the strength and power comes from us. We are powerful beings, and we could get through adversity, and we are resilient. And as much as we feel sometimes or get discouraged, we are sources of our own strength. Each and every one of us has that source of strength. It's really about tapping into it and finding it within yourself. So tap into that, find it, and use it to improve yourself for the ongoing future. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you and your families stay safe and healthy. Thank you.